She is empowering the next generation of youth. Our next guest is helping at-risk children and their families overcome barriers that stop them from becoming the best versions of themselves.
This is Charleston Women Podcast, where you can meet like-minded, strong, independent, professional, and inspiring local women. This is Charleston Women Podcast.
And now I'm thrilled to welcome Sherrika Myers, the founder and executive director of Every One Voice Matters, to the Charleston Women Podcast. Sherrika, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, just tell me a little bit more. I've been reading online about your nonprofit. You guys do so much, but just kind of give me a rundown of everything that you do.
Every One Voice Matters. Like I said, I'm the founder and executive director of the nonprofit Every One Voice Matters. And Every One Voice Matters is a nonprofit that helps at-risk youth and their families tackle different barriers that hinders them from becoming the best version of themselves through the power of storytelling and positive mindset.
So what made you want to start or found this organization? What happened to you that you were like, you know what? I'm going to go start a nonprofit, because we all know it is not an easy thing to do. It's a big movement.
Yes, well, actually, I grew up with a speech impediment called stuttering, and because of that, I developed low self-esteem. Mm-hmm. I was laughed at, I was teased, I was bullied mentally by kids, and even though when I grew up, I was able to correct the outside, but I was never able to correct the inside. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking at a normal pace, but I still had low self-esteem and I lacked self-confidence. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until I had my first grandson named Lil Herbert. And when I saw that he also had the same speech impediment that I had, and I didn't want him to have the same, to actually deal with the same issues that I had inside. But I knew that before I could help him, I had to step out the box that I was in to be able to help him and any other kid deal with that same issue. So I went back to school, I got my degree, and that's when I formed my nonprofit, Every One Voice Matters.
That's wonderful. What degree did you get before you started your nonprofit?
Marketing and business management.
Okay, that's wonderful. I mean, this is kind of a personal question, but you sound great to me. Just doing a podcast, or putting you in a situation like this, does this still make you nervous, or are you mentally over it by now?
I'm mentally over it.
Good for
I'm
you.
mentally over it.
So what do you, I love that you went through a difficult time and now you're helping others. Your grandson who inspired all this. What type of services do you offer?
Well, I became a certified life coach for kids. I became a certified life coach for adults. And I also became a certified life coach for families, because I know that some of the challenges that kids face, I know some of the challenges that families face, especially at-risk families. And I wanted them to know that even though they face those challenges, I want them to know that all things are still possible.
Mm-hmm. We've all heard of life coaches for adults and for us, but I've never heard one for children. That's so fascinating. What's the difference between a life coach versus, sending your child to see a therapist?
Well, actually, a life coach is just like from adults. Well, a therapist help kids deal with like childhood trauma, things
Sure.
like that. But a life coach help kids develop those things that's already they have inside them. Mm-hmm. We just help them be able to develop them. Like as far as like coaches for adults. It's the same way as coaches for kids. We just help y'all develop those things that y'all already have inside of you. We just help y'all bring it out.
It sounds like every child could use a life coach. We all could, right? For sure. But I love that you're getting them at such a young age. What's the before and after they work with you? What kind of things do they say to you?
I can do it. I can do it, and I teach them the power of affirmations, because once they can say it to themselves, they start to believe it. It's so powerful to be able to tell yourself that all things is possible, because once you can tell yourself that, you can be able to tell anybody that.
Yeah.
That's what I instill in all the kids that I work with.
Podcasting has exploded in popularity, especially local podcasts. As of 2022, 62% of Americans have listened to a podcast. 38% have listened in the last month. 26% in the last week. The podcasting audience is booming with no signs of slowing down. Call the podcast hotline to be featured on these podcasts or to receive information about podcast marketing. Call 843-530-0403 or visit carolinapodcasts.com.
You're listening to the Charleston Women Podcast.
Can we go back to your grandson, little Herbie? How is he right now? Where do things stand with him? And you also have a little Herbie brand. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. He's 13 now, and when I first developed that he stuttered, he was at the age of 5, and when I first noticed that he stuttered, it was when he told me that when he was trying to say something, and he was like, "Granny, I can't say it." And when he said that, I knew exactly how he felt, and it sent something to me. And then when he told me that at 5 years old, I knew that I had to develop something to actually help him. And so from 5 years old to 13 now, he has this confidence that he can do all things. So now he's telling me like he thinks he's Superman. Well, he is Superman.
Right. He's coaching you. He's like, "Granny, I got this." I'm
so now.
Well, because you went through it yourself as a child, did he have to go to like a speech therapist, or were you the one that coached him through this?
No, well, actually, how I was able to get through it was reading out loud, because at that age they didn't have all the things that they have now to be able to help kids, like the things that they have in school now. Now keep in mind, I'm 48. And so they didn't have all of the therapy and things that they have now for kids in school. So he was able to get a lot of assistance in school. But I learned through reading out loud. Right. So but now he don't have as many challenges at that he had then.
Well, I'm sure just knowing that you had his back and you were kind of fueling him certainly helped that process. So the Lil Herbie brand, you have a Lil Herbie series. I see that you have an Instagram account just for that. Tell me, what does that look like?
Well, the Lil Herbie series have several different initiatives. It has several different initiatives. It has the Lil Herbie series book collection, which is a collection of books that is geared towards social emotional learning for kids. It also has the Lil Herbie series and the animated series, where it's though that it teaches kids about financial literacy, social emotional learning, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I also have the Lil Herbie series coaching as well. So I wanted to create initiatives that will teach kids about the power of loving themselves both in and outside of the classroom.
When do you sleep creating all this? That is so impressive. And we can find that all. I want to say the Instagram. It's Lil_Herbie_series is where we go. And we can also link that online for you guys. So we can purchase the books online.
Yes.
The link
Yes.
What does Herbie say now as a 13-year-old? Does he think it's cool that he's a character? Or is he like, "Oh gosh, no, Granny"?
He understands that I created the brand because he inspired me. But the real Lil Herbie is the child that has been inside of me for so long, and I just decided to actually birth him. But he knows that it's because of him that I decided to birth the child that has been inside of me.
Sherrika, that is so beautiful. I love that. I really do. Yes. Let's talk more about the Everyone Voice Matters. People can go online to find more information about that. And you also have community events, correct?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, correct.
Tell me about, what's coming up and if someone's interested in finding out more and wants to go to one of your events.
Yes, I have my two most powerful community events I have every year. In August, we host our yearly back to school event, whereas though that we provide 1,000 book bags filled with school supplies, 200 new sneakers, and 200 new uniforms to kids in the low income area, and we have been doing that for the last 6 years. And coming up in August, we have our yearly coat and bike drive, whereas though that we provide 600 to 700 new coats to kids, about 130 new bikes to kids, and also 200 new toys to kids in the low income area. And then we have been doing that for the last 6 years. And this year we're having it at the North Charleston Police Department, and we call it Christmas at City Hall. And this at on December the 17th. And we are looking for sponsors and donations for that.
That was my next question. How can we help?
Yes,
so they can events. You can donate cash, I'm sure. Do you need bike donations or toy donations too?
Yes, they can go to our website and donate cash, of course. And then we're also taking bikes, toys, and new coats for kids as well. They can email us at our email address for the donation. For the sponsorship package at the info.everyonevoicematters.com. And then they can also donate on our website at everyonevoicematters.org.
That's great. And I'm just going to say Everyone Voice Matters. It's the number one.
Yes, the number one.
I'm sure you just Google it and you'll find it. For someone who's listening to this right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who want to help. So they can go ahead and do that online. There's other people who might need your services and say, either my family needs help or my grandson or my child. What are the steps to move forward to, see what you offer and if they're a good fit?
They can actually visit our website at like I said, the number one voicematters.org. And I also want to let them know that I also do personal coaching as well for kids. We do one-on-one coaching. We do group coaching as well for kids as well, because I'm also a national speaker as well. We go inside the schools because I work with schools both locally and nationally. So we do coaching with families as well. So they can visit our website. We have a form on there that they can fill out, and they can get plenty of our information from there.
Right. I'm going to selfishly ask you a question now. I'm a mother to tweens and teens at such a critical age. I know you can't give the whole speech that you give in schools or the whole coaching program, but as parents, if we were to help our children focus on, I'll say 1 to 2 things during these tough years, do you have any pieces of advice how to help them navigate that?
Listen to your kids and pay close attention. Parents, sometimes we get caught up in the things that we're doing every day, and sometimes, sometimes we are so busy, but we have to take time out to just listen to our kids, and pay close attention to them, and notice and take close attention to their routine. And if you're seeing that their routine is changing, drastically, then you have to ask questions. Don't just assume that is changing because they're getting older. Ask questions. Because some parents are just caught up. Because some parents are busy, but pay close attention and ask them how their day is going. Because some kids really need that, especially teenagers, and with COVID. Because some kids haven't really, adjusted to, the COVID and how things are going. Because some of the kids that I've coached, that's some of the things that they have said, that their parents haven't just took time out to ask them how was their day,
so and I'm sure if you talk to their parents, they don't realize that. They think that we're doing so much for them. We're driving around, we're feeding them, we're, clothing them. All the
exactly. They taking them to practice. We're doing things as parents supposed to do, but it's the little things that the kids really want.
That's a great takeaway.
Yeah.
Do you tell them, are phones the source of all evil?
Well,
I feel like I see any problems, at least I've seen with my children this age. A lot of it relates to the phone. Let's be honest. We didn't have that as children.
Well, teenagers, especially teenagers, I always tell it, teenagers, don't get so caught up on social media.
Yeah.
Because especially with teenagers, they get caught up on what likes and comments. And, sometimes that gets them like, with bullying and they tend to care about how many likes they get, how many comments they get. And sometimes that tend to, it tends to have a lot to do with their confidence or self-esteem. If they don't get, I'll say 100 likes, their confidence goes down, so, especially teenagers, tell them, don't get caught up too much on the likes and the comments.
Yeah. Adults could also benefit from listening to that too, right? Before we run out of time, I love how the takeaway that you have is that the community's goal, so us as a community, all of us should always be to empower the next generation of youth. Do you think that we forget that sometimes?
Yes. I always tell them that remember that all communities matters. All children matters because they are the next generation. So try to empower all children, all communities matters.
Sherrika, I can't top that. That was beautifully said. We cannot thank you enough for your time today. Give me your website one more time, just so people can jot it down or imprint it in so they can find you later.
They can reach me at voicematters.org. And thank you for having me too, Erin.
Absolutely. This has been Sherrika Myers on the Charleston Women Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with Charleston Women Podcast. Please like us and follow us on whatever platform you're using to access Charleston Women Podcast.